Welcome to Scrubbed In, Narratives from the Front Lines, a podcast from the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Medicine, created in partnership with the Teaching and Learning Center. This is a space for reflection and storytelling, where medical students, residents, and faculty share the real moments that shape the journey of becoming healthcare professionals. Also, please take a moment to follow or subscribe and share this podcast with a friend, colleague, or fellow student. Our goal with each episode is to explore the challenges, triumphs, and unexpected lessons that come with learning to care for patients, and remind us that medicine is as human as it is clinical. So whether you're a fellow student, a seasoned clinician, or simply curious about the human side of medicine, we invite you to listen, connect, reflect, and scrub in. Let's move to the front lines.
Hello, class of 2030, and welcome to medical school. I am Dr. Faria Abdullah, Assistant Dean of Clinical Skills Training and co-course director for Principles of Clinical Medicine and content writer for this podcast. I'm sure you are excited. You're feeling a little bit of everything right now. Excited, curious, maybe even a little overwhelmed. That's completely normal. Every physician sitting in front of you today was once exactly where you are. Over the next few days, you will hear about schedules, anatomy labs, exams, resources, and all the practical things you need to know to get started. Those conversations are important, but today we wanted to have a different conversation. We wanted to talk about what medical school is really like and what surprised us. What do we wish someone had told us during our first week? And perhaps the biggest question of all, what makes medical school so different from every other educational experience you have had? Because while you are here to learn medicine, you are also beginning a journey that is unlike any other.
Thank you, Dr. Abdullah. I'm Dr. Rebecca Shapley, Assistant Dean of Clinical Skills Training and co-course director for the Principles of Clinical Medicine course. When most people think about medical school, they picture lectures, anatomy labs, late-night studying, and lots of caffeine. And yes, there will be plenty of all of those. But what surprised me the most wasn't how much there was to learn. It was realizing that medical school becomes so much more than school. It becomes a way of life. You'll spend the next few years learning the science of medicine, but you'll also discover why medicine is such a unique profession. Along the way, your classmates, your mentors, and especially your patients will teach you lessons that can't be found in textbooks. That's why we wanted today's conversation to be about more than classes and exams. We're joined by our dean to talk about why we chose medicine, what medical school is really like, what surprised us the most, and what we wish we had known when we were sitting exactly where you are today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Scrubbed In. I'm your host for today's episode, Aman Motiwala, and I'm an M2 student.
And I'm your co-host, Peyton Duke, a third-year MedPeds resident.
And I will be your storyteller, Amelia Mellis, another M2 student.
Amelia and I are M2s now at UTHC, though it still feels weird saying that sometimes. It's crazy to think we have already finished our first year of medical school. Looking back, it feels like it flew by. It seems like we were just sitting in GEB during orientation in a room full of new faces.
Today, we are ready to give some advice to our incoming students. And who better to do that than those that were just in your shoes not that long ago?
In this podcast, we'll be asking the questions we wish someone had answered when we were sitting where you are today. Today's episode will revolve around one simple question. What is medical school really like?
We have a special guest, all too familiar with that question, to help us today, Dean Hocker.
Thanks for having me. This is an exciting time of the year as we say farewell to our graduating students and residents, but it's even more exciting as we welcome the new students who will be joining us. Look forward to spending some time with you today.
So, Dean Hocker, when did you first realize you wanted to become a physician?
So I think it would surprise you. In high school, I was actually thinking I was going to become a race car driver. Everybody in my family raced cars, and I thought it was a cool thing to do. And when that didn't look like it was in my future, I thought I was going to be an Olympic wrestler. I had the unfortunate incidents where I got hurt twice in high school, and dislocated my elbow, and actually ended up seeing an orthopedist who I thought was the coolest guy I'd ever met. Somebody who could put me back together, somebody who could understand what I was going through, somebody who understood what my dream was. And so it started that day when I met him. He then took care of me for another injury and really changed my life, because I said, what does it take to become you? And he outlined, well, first you got to get good grades. And I would say I was a good student, but not a great student. And he said, it takes a lifelong commitment, and you too could have the impact that I've had. And then I subsequently was fortunate. My family owned an ambulance company, and I got to become an EMT late in my high school, and then actually worked as an undergraduate, and then the rest is history.
That's amazing. That's a beautiful story. Looking back, has your reason for choosing medicine changed over the years?
I don't think my reason has changed. I'm an emergency physician, and I've always believed, and there's kind of a motto in emergency medicine, which is any patient, anytime, anywhere. And I still believe that. And again, I love to help people. I love to help people in need. And I don't care what you look like or where you come from, or if you have the ability to pay, I'm going to take care of you. And that's always stayed true to me. I think as dean, and as I've moved up the leadership ladder, I've had a great opportunity to not just impact one patient, but now I get the opportunity to impact patients across an entire state and a region. And that's something really special.
What still inspires you after all these years?
I would say it's the patients. When I get the opportunity to, save a life, which is infrequent in emergency medicine, actually, but when I get to sit down with a patient, when I get to sit down with a student or resident and actually talk to a patient and see that we can impact their lives. And again, sometimes it's being the best part of our patient's worst day that makes our day really special.
Why do you think that medicine is such a unique profession?
I believe that medicine ties two things together, which I love, and I think most people in medicine do. It's a science. We get to learn about the body and the incredible things it can do, but it's also an art. And I think it's a lifelong commitment. Medicine, for physicians, that's who we are. That's our being. And every day we wake up thinking about it. We take care of our patients. We go home and we talk about it. And we're surrounded by colleagues. The things that really motivate me now are the students, the residents, the colleagues, and the great work and we have incredible people here at UTHSC just doing amazing things every day and getting the opportunity. And really, it's an honor and privilege to be in medicine, and that's the thing that holds true to me.
Thank you, Dean Hocker, for your incredible insights. Now, we would like to share some more about our medical school expectations as students who have already completed their first year. Peyton, tell me one thing you thought would be true about medical school that was subverted.
Oh man, that's a great question. I thought I would never have any downtime, that every second would be spent studying. While this might have been somewhat true, as I figured out my study habits, I was definitely surprised by how much free time I had as the semester went on. I think putting in structured free time as well helps a lot. Time where you allow yourself to focus on a hobby or time with friends and family guilt-free.
I like what you added at the end there, guilt-free. I was also surprised by how much free time I had, but it is still limited. Don't spend half your time worrying about if you should be doing more for school or else it's a waste. Giving yourself time to recharge can be just as beneficial as studying.
What did you think medical school would be like?
Honestly, I thought everyone around me would know what they were doing and I would be a fish out of water. I quickly realized most of us felt this way. No matter if they were from a medical background or had prior experience, medical school is new to all of us. We are all trying to find our footing at the same time.
Definitely. I think a big part of medical training is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. We will find ourselves in situations most people haven't been through. It's okay to feel out of place. It's okay to say, I don't know. What I've learned is a bit of confidence and friendliness goes a long way.
Definitely. A question I would have for Dean Hocker is, what advice would you give students during their first month of medical school?
I would give them advice that this is going to be hard, but it's doable. The most important thing is, I think as undergraduates, there's so much dependent on the MCAT, so much dependent on your GPA and outcomes, and it's a competition. And as the pyramid gets smaller and smaller, the one thing that's nice about medical school is you've made it here. Treat that as success. Look at your colleagues and your classmates, not as competitors, but this is going to be your team, your family. And again, in medicine, we practice as a team. When we take care of a patient, we're all there working together to help the patient. You have to leave that competition behind when you come to medical school. We're a family, and we're here to take care of each other and make it through.
Dean Hocker, what do you think incoming students spend too much time worrying about?
grades, number one. Two, you guys have hit it right on the head. Medical school is hard, but you got to figure out your life balance. And I'd say even as practicing physicians, even 20 years plus out from medical school, you have to take care of yourself and be healthy and happy and really enjoy the journey. As a runner and triathlete, this is a marathon. It's going to take many years to get through medical school and then many more to get through residency. And even when you become a faculty, there's always learning. And so really treat it that way. You can't know everything. You have to know what the resources are, and you got to enjoy the journey because it's a long one and it's important, and you got to spend the right time. And it's not so much quantity, it's the quality of studying and making sure that you learn the right things.
That's great advice. I hope everyone listening can take something away from that.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Scrubbed In Narratives from the Front Lines podcast. If you're enjoying this episode, take a moment to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening, and help us grow by sharing it with a friend, colleague, or fellow student. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms or email us at pcmcourse@uthsc.edu with your thoughts, reflections, or questions. We'd love to hear your story too. Okay, now, let's get back to the front lines.
And now, we would like to share a quick story from a previous medical student. One vital aspect of medical education is reflecting upon moments in our training that challenge our outlooks or change our perspectives.
Through this reflection, we strive to better our interactions with patients by focusing on the humanity within medicine. Ultimately, we hope to become better physicians.
With that, take it away, Amelia.
She had been in the hospital for over 2 months, alone, in pain, and growing increasingly frustrated. With no family or friends to visit, she lashed out at medical staff, her anger masking a deeper sorrow. It would have been easy to dismiss her as difficult, but I saw more, a person suffering not just physically, but emotionally. During my surgery rotation, I cared for this patient, and through our daily conversations, I came to understand that true healing extends beyond medicine. It requires presence, compassion, and human connection. A quote I had heard completely embodied this idea: be worthy to serve the suffering. In that moment, I saw how being a physician is not merely about diagnosing and treating, it is about bearing witness to a person's most vulnerable moments and offering comfort, dignity, and care. At first, my patient was withdrawn, refusing treatment and dismissing medical advice, but I knew her pain ran deeper than what medicine could fix. She was facing illness without a support system. Though I could not cure her, I realized that what she needed most was someone to be there. After rounds each day, I sat with her, talking about anything but medicine, and slowly her demeanor softened. She began to trust me and saw how something as simple as conversation could provide healing that no prescription could offer. One day, I recall learning that her birthday was approaching, and it became clear that no one would come to visit. Determined to make her feel seen, I helped organize decorations and gathered fellow students to celebrate with her. On her birthday, we stood by her bedside, her only visitors. She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "You have been such a blessing in my life. If it weren't for you, I would not have made it to my birthday." A few days later, she passed away, but in her final moments, she knew she was not alone. This experience reshaped my understanding of what it means to be a physician. Technical expertise is essential, but it is not enough. Medicine can ease physical pain, but compassion is what heals the soul. To be worthy of serving the suffering is to embrace both the hard and soft skills of medicine. Knowledge allows us to diagnose and treat, but humility, empathy, and presence allow us to heal. Her words on her birthday will always remind me why I chose this path. To be worthy of serving the suffering means embracing medicine as both a science and a calling, one that demands both skill and heart. It is a privilege to care for those in need, and I will carry this responsibility with humility and dedication for the rest of my life.
I feel the story really encompasses the difference we can make as medical students when we take the time to slow down and speak to patients, human to human.
That's a really good point, Ahmed. It's really a unique part of being a student. You guys are granted more time than any other team members to connect. While sometimes it seems like it's only a small part of your job, it can make a world of difference to the patient.
So, Dean Hocker, what stood out to you most about this story?
As a physician that gets to interface with a patient, it reminds me that it's truly a privilege and honor to be a physician and to really understand and bring in a humanistic part of what we do on a daily basis. Again, I think we always try to get the diagnosis right. We we listen to the patient, we examine them. But sometimes the things they're not telling us are the things that we can help them with.
How does the story remind us that becoming a physician involves something much bigger?
Life is precious. Every patient has unique needs. I'm sometimes reminded, not by the patients that I've saved, but sometimes the patients that I've helped, it's because I've helped them by just listening to them, helping them get food, helping them get shelter. Sometimes it's the little things, but at the end of the day, we have a huge opportunity, but also an obligation to make sure that we're listening to our patients and that we're taking care of them.
Definitely. And I think that kind of follows up on my next question, which is, at what point do students begin to understand that medicine is about caring for people, not just treating disease?
I think some people innately have that built into them, and whether that's compassion that they grew up with or they saw that modeled in their homes. I think for the students who come in just thinking about the disease process, it's getting to see faculty, it's getting to see residents and other students who really show that compassion and understanding and how to care for people.
Dean Hocker, can this compassion be taught, or is it something that students discover through experiences like this?
I think it's both. I don't think it's one or the other. I think there's just compassionate people who, again, have been exposed to that in their lives. But I've also seen folks who didn't understand what compassion was. And again, I think when you have a vulnerable population and patients who are sitting in front of you, we have to take this time and actually listen to them and understand what's happening with them.
As we near the end of this episode, we hope to leave you with a few more words of encouragement and advice regarding what we wish we had known on our first day of medical school. Peyton, what's one thing students should stop worrying about immediately?
Oh man, we touched on this a bit earlier, but I strongly encourage everyone to stop worrying about what everyone else is doing. When you talk to your classmates, you will hear a different study method or resource from everyone, and undoubtedly, you will feel overwhelmed. For me personally, I found myself asking, am I not doing enough? I would worry that everyone else is just getting ahead of me.
Exactly. Everyone's study journey is unique. A resource like Sketchy might work for your friend, but just doesn't click with you. Some people swear by Anki, some people never touch it. Trial what works for you, and don't worry if that looks completely different from your classmates.
100%. Let's talk about something we all dread. No matter how inevitable it is, mistakes and feedback. How should students think about mistakes?
Mistakes are inevitable. The sooner you accept that you and everyone around you make mistakes, the easier life gets. Most people say to forget about your mistakes and move forward instead of dwelling. And while I think there is merit to this, it is super important to internalize any lessons we can learn from our mistakes.
Exactly right. You should acknowledge your emotions regarding the mistake and learn what you can change to avoid it happening again. But do not dwell on anything that doesn't serve you.
How do you think students should handle feedback?
I think most of us went in with the assumption feedback from peers or mentors would not become a major aspect of our education until rotations. But in reality, it is foundational to our training from day one. It does not need to be a formal evaluation or feedback from an SP. Sometimes it's as simple as a quick conversation with a peer. Feedback should be handled similar to mistakes. If it is a critique, use it as a moment of growth.
Exactly. Do not be embarrassed, though it is hard at times. Feedback is given so that we can grow as physicians. If we did not need feedback, we would all already have our MDs. And when you get positive feedback, which you will, celebrate it. Even if it seems silly, it is so important to celebrate the smallest wins.
Yeah, if you don't allow yourself to enjoy those moments, your perspective on medicine might become jaded. Do not be ashamed to be happy for yourself.
We want to thank Dean Hocker for joining us today on Scrubbed In. Do you have any final remarks for us?
Well, thanks for having me. One, just as a reminder, success comes from hard work, attitude, persistence, and being willing to do what others won't. I want to thank all the faculty who support our students, but also the students from the residents and the medical students, but also the staff. This is an incredible place to work and learn, and we look forward to seeing you.
In closing, keep in mind, medical school will challenge you. It will surprise you.
It will humble you. It will inspire you.
You'll learn an incredible amount of science over the next 4 years. But perhaps the greatest lesson you'll learn is that medicine is ultimately about people.
The patients you meet will shape you just as much as your professors. Your classmates will become lifelong friends.
Your mentors will challenge you to become better than you imagined. And one day, without even realizing it, you'll look back and recognize that you didn't just learn medicine.
You became a physician. Welcome to the journey.
We're honored to be a part of it.
You've been listening to Scrubbed In, Narratives from the Front Lines, a UT Health Science Center College of Medicine production in collaboration with the Teaching and Learning Center. If any of today's stories moved you, challenged you, or inspired you to see medicine through a new lens, we want to hear from you. Connect with us on all social media platforms at UT College of Medicine or email us at pcmcourse@uthsc.edu. And for info about the Principles of Clinical Medicine course and/or other educational initiatives from the UT College of Medicine, visit uthsc.edu. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, keep learning, and keep scrubbing in.